Well, hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. I'm joined, as ever, with John. And
Yes.
John, we've got a few things we'd like to share with our audience. And we're going to kick off with Logan's Dafne Keen definitely wants to play X23 in MCU. If the opportunity presented itself, Logan's Dafne Keen says she would absolutely love to play X23 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She actually recently spoke to comicbook.com, John, about her Logan character. When asked if she would play Laura again for the MCU if given the opportunity, Keen's response was a resounding affirmation. Yes, definitely, 100%, she did say. Now, how long ago was Logan now?
2016.
Was it 4 years ago? I was about to say 3 years ago.
So,
James Mangold, over the past few years, has indicated he would be interested in making a solo X23 film. So
Yes.
I don't think it would take much to get him on board. The only thing I think would be Disney's involvement. I think when the initial, they were talking about this sort of spin-off from Logan. Fox were their own entity at the time, but things have changed. So the question I'm going to ponder to you first, John, just before you talk about obviously this news about Dafne Keen, is: do you think James Mangold would still do a film, obviously under the Disney banner?
I think he would. Yeah, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Stephen, he's a firmly established director. He's a fantastic sort of writer as well. I think he's wrote some movies as well as co-directed, co-wrote, double duty.
Yeah.
And I think he was originally slotted to be coming in and directing the Boba Fett movie from a couple of years ago, which was on the pipelines. Obviously get cancelled when the scene that Solo was an absolute disaster, and that perhaps fans weren't so keen in going back to the past again and again and again and again. But I don't think that was any degradation between the relationship with Disney and Mangold himself. So I see no reason why the man wouldn't come back. I'm actually just looking at some of the projects that he's currently got as a director in the coming years. He did Call of the Wild. Was that one with Harrison Ford? Yeah, it was Harrison Ford. That was a decent little movie. It wasn't Becoming of a Man of James Mangold, though. It was a slight disappointment for what he's done previously. He's doing Juliet, he's doing Crenshaw, so he's not a man who's incredibly busy in the next couple of years or so. So I see no reason why, if Dafne Keen would be keen to come back, and if Kevin Feige's keen to green light Keen, yes. Yeah. Dafne Keen on coming back as X23. Will James Mangold, will Kevin Feige be is equally keen to come back and direct and produce? I see no reason why not, Stephen. This isn't like perhaps the talks of bringing back Hugh Jackman, who's a guy who was associated with the character for over a decade. He'd been there, he'd done it. He's maybe tired of eating. I mean, we were speaking about it earlier on. He's been eating a hell of a lot of food to just maintain this physique, this muscular physique. He's not naturally as big as that. Yeah. And he grew tired of it. He wanted to live his own lifestyle, do his different projects that he does. I mean, this is a man who's done musicals. He's a Tony Award winner, and I think he's done so many different things. He wants to go away and do it. That isn't like that. This is a young up-and-coming actress who was absolutely magnificent in Logan, and I could see her having great scope coming back to the character. It gives some continuity as well. I don't know what's in the pipelines for the MCU. I don't know what's in Kevin Feige's mind for the X-Men. But we said it before, Stephen, keep the main characters out of it, the likes of Wolverine and whatnot. Start with slightly lesser B-tier.
This is how this
X-Men
would
characters.
work to an extent, John, but the thing is, she is a sort of offspring of Logan. That's the only thing that sort of would delay any kind of initial
Without her, there
film.
Can't be...
Without
Logan, there can't be an X23.
Unless, obviously, they could just give her that sort of vague sort of flashback, where she's been inserted with the DNA or whatever. I don't know how it
Or they
work.
can rewrite her history like they did with Fantastic Four,
why not,
setting up an appearance in the MCU.
As far as her performance in Logan, I know that her dialogue was very limited, to be honest with you. She spoke some Spanish, to be fair. But for action, she was right up for it, wasn't she? I mean, she was on par with Hugh Jackman, I think.
Bunny.
Yeah, she was resilient, and I think she took me by surprise just how much energy this young actor's got. But I think I think the key is here is obviously Kevin Feige first and foremost. If you can get Mangold on board, he's obviously got a history with the Logan character anyway. He's did a few films, and obviously the actor, Dafne Keen as well. If you can get them, all in a room together, I think they can work something out. They don't really have to. They don't have to work from comic books. We've seen it already that they sometimes stray off. They use it as a sort of a template. But they can stray off and make up their own sort of origins if they want. We've got a combination of some characters within the X-Men films that were actually a combination of two characters and stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might have been in X-Men 3, The Last Stand. One of the characters was actually a combination of two characters. I can't really remember, but it's been done before. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Nightcrawler or something, because there was two blue characters in Dark Phoenix. There was a skinnier one, and then there was another, Officer Beast. I don't know if they maybe combined them. I doubt it.
I honestly don't know, John, but I know there was some character anyway. I don't know if it maybe been the Vinnie Jones one. I can't really remember. It was one of the ones that I'm sure appeared in The Last Stand. But again, it's just sort of just try to reiterate here that the possibilities of opening up the opportunities for, because as you recall, before the takeover and after Logan's run, pardon the pun, that was the talk. X23, that was the film. That and the New Mutants were the two films. One's been cursed so far, so I think they'll wait though. I really do, because I don't think they have a plan yet for the X-Men and how they're going to appear. But I think you're right. I don't think they're going to get in with the Charles Xaviers or anything like that right away. I think it's going to be very subtle.
And Stephen, there's nothing to suggest that these pre-established bigger characters aren't hovering around in the shadows, perhaps doing their own things. Welsh introduced a Dafne Keen X23 character into the mould. It could, or the fold, not the mould. They could be off doing their own things, and then they can bring them in 4, 5, 6 years down the line, and then it's all explained maybe better. Because look, we've seen it with Black Widow. She never had a backstory until 10, 11 years into playing the character. So they can introduce the character, have a mysterious background, and then bring in the likes of Xavier, the likes of Magneto, the likes of Wolverine later on in the MCU. Final thing I would add about Mangold, obviously in the MCU traditionally they've not went for established directors. It's been up and coming youthful directors. The Russos weren't established before they came to the MCU. Taika Waititi was still very much up and coming. It was established in his own little cult following for just his brand of humour and stuff, what they did in the shadows and things like that. But he wasn't a Steven Spielberg sort of Christopher Nolan level name. Mangold's already an established director, but we've seen from bringing in Sam Raimi to do the Multiverse of Madness, that they're now starting to change their strategy with the directors as well. They can now, they're at a stage now with the brand that they can bring in bigger name established directors, so that opens the door for a Mangold to come in. And I'd love to see the guy collaborate with Keen again on a X23 movie. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, so do I, John. We'll just have to watch this space, as I say. But we'll move on to our next topic, John. We were talking about it last week, Halloween Kills. We're all looking forward to it. Then the news broke, I think possibly a couple of days after our show, that there is going to be a delay on this film by 1 year. Now, I think if it was any other film, it might have penciled in 3 months later, 6 months later, but the fact that it's supposed to take place at Halloween, it's got to come out in October, only makes sense. You don't want to see a Halloween film being released in February or anything like that. So there is going to be a delay, John. This actually is just John. This just is following up from John Carpenter's
love everybody.
tweet on the 8th of July. This was obviously the announcement of the film being delayed by 1 year. Jamie Lee Curtis took to Twitter and responded, "I am as disappointed as you are," talking to John Carpenter, "mostly because the movie that David has created from the characters that John and Deborah created is a masterpiece. I promise you it will be worth the wait." So naturally disappointed, John, but again we're going back to obviously procedures during this time of the coronavirus. What matters most, we've got to remember our priorities here. It's at the end of the day, it is only a film. It's not life or death for the film, but it certainly is for people. And so it looks like it's going to have a knock-on effect unless they release. But it does say in this actual article they're going to release Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends 2 Octobers in a row. So I thought possibly you know, they might have squeezed it in there, but I think that would be madness to do that, to be honest with you.
Two Halloween movies in the one year.
Yeah. So,
just can't get enough of Michael Myers.
So yeah, I mean, it just means Halloween Ends is going to have to be pushed back to 2022 now, I think, yeah. So what's your thoughts on this? I'm quite disappointed because the more we were talking about it last week, the more I was in tune to, you know, get on board for this instalment. Before, because there was not really much getting released, and I liked your theory as well about the sort of more psychological edge to it. Doesn't look like it's going that way. It looks like it's going to be an absolute slasher of a movie. There's going to be a lot of, you know, what is it they call that, kill count in the movie. So
bodies.
Yeah, it's going to be a body count. Yeah, it's going to be, I think, the highest out of all the Halloween films. So what's your thoughts on this delay, John?
Stephen, I think it's a sensible decision once again. They're having to make money back on these movies at the end of the day. I don't know what the actual budget is, but they have to make money back, and the best way to make money back and guarantee enough eyeballs get looking at their movie is to delay it to a more safer time period when we're not in the midst of a global pandemic. Hopefully it's all died down this time next October, and then people can go back with confidence and watch movies and enjoy the experience the way it's meant to be, with popcorn and drinks and not wearing masks and stuff like that. So I think it's a sensible decision, but you're right, I'm disappointed as well, because it seems strange they have timed this with a teaser being released last week, and then they announced that the movie's been delayed till next year, so it seems a little bit counter-intuitive to me. A little bit strange, but look, it is what it is. It's what's happening just now. This is just the reality of the current situation we're in. You've got the likes of Tenet getting pushed back again and again and again. I'm beginning to think, Stephen, that perhaps we'll not see any big blockbuster movies releasing in the theatres in 2020, because we're seeing shutdown of theatres again in LA, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
There's stuff going on in New York. I think it's Hong Kong has been completely shut down again. Theatres all been shut down. These are big markets for theatres, and I fear that some cinema theatre companies, the likes of AMC, Cineworld, Regal, View, they're all interconnected. I think it may be Odeon and View. I feel like they could potentially go down the chute, down the drain, finish completely out of business if this is indeed something that's going to rear its ugly head again in the next couple of months or so, and it gets back to the way it was in March. But I'm beginning to think, Stephen, the more movies that keep getting delayed, the situation doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon, that we may not have any more big blockbuster releases. That drive-in theatres may be the new normal until maybe in the new year.
Certainly not this
I
country.
I hope not, Stephen. I hope I'm talking crap.
No, but
it's getting concerning.
It does. The pattern is starting to form here, isn't it? You know, and as you said, John, the AMC, you know, in the theatres announced, I think it was today, you know, that they're having to close them down again, bars as well, restaurants, just because there's another spike. But so no, it's not pre-recorded, Fort Juan. It's actually, we're live just now, so hi to you.
Not spectacularly live.
It's not that bad.
No, I'm okay, you know? Now. I'm over.
But, you know, I'm just going to actually just end this article in a wee second here, John. A wee second. Producer Malik Akid shared his thoughts on the upcoming Halloween sequel. Moving the release date of Halloween Kills was such a tough decision. The entire cast and crew have been so excited to share it with the world. But we all believe it's the right thing to do, as we want the film to be seen in the best format possible. I know that this will be disappointing for Halloween fans. We've always cherished their support and love for the franchise. We hope they'll agree that, given the current circumstances, it is the best decision.
Absolutely. And
that the film will be worth the wait. I agree, John.
Hopefully it will be worth the wait.
I think so. You know, it's good to see everyone's on board, and you know, the correct decision has been made, and they're not going to go to VOD with Halloween. I don't believe those type of films. I watched the 2018 one on, I can't remember if it's Sky Movies or not, John, but it didn't have the same sort of impact on me. I don't know if it's because I already saw the film. I don't think it was that. It just doesn't seem to have the same atmosphere.
No, Steve, it's like it as well. These are movies that have to be consumed in a darkened theatre. It heightens the senses, it heightens the fear. You lose something palpable when you're sitting in the house. It's too comfortable. You need to be in a big dark theatre with booming sound systems and whatnot. It's better. Movies like this, horror movies, are
especially with that
designed.
score.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. Yeah, exactly. Classic John Carpenter score. So you firmly against VOD. If they have to keep pushing it back again and again till we finally get to consume it,
do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Release it in theatres. The final thing I'll add, Steve, not connected to this, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Tenet in the next month or so, because there's been a battle in the boardroom at is it Warner Brothers that TENET'S in cahoots with, and Nolan's in cahoots with, over pushing this back. He was firmly against delaying it longer. He only forced back a month delay or something. I think it was originally the 17th of July, pushed back to the 31st. Now it's mid-August. So it's going to be intriguing to see how that kind of the fallout of that, if they have to move that back again, because if that gets pushed back to next year, then the likes of Bond, No Time to Die and stuff like that, they're in trouble.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a decision how they're going to release these films, John, eventually.
Could see some big releases going on VOD, Stephen.
And they'll hate that because they're going to lose a lot of money. They're losing money just now as we speak, but they're going to lose a hell of a lot of money because they are obviously looking for that sort of payload at the release of these films. But
Dafne Keen, Stephen, someone's commented. We'll just quickly glance over that one more time. We're up for Dafne Keen coming back to the MCU. In short summary, we want to see her back with James Mangold directing.
Definitely, but listen, we'll move on to, as you can see down at the bottom, before I've even said it, it's new Star Wars animated series, The Bad Batch, launching in 2021. This just dropped today, John, here in the UK, probably was already in the US, but the series follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the clone army. Each possess a singular exceptional skill which makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew. In the post-Clone War era, they will take on daring mercenary missions as they struggle to stay afloat and find new purpose. Does this float your boat, John?
Not really, no, Stephen, to be honest. But if it's Dave Filoni that's involved again, then I suppose he'll work some magic on it and it'll be watchable. The guy is completely in tune with canon in Star Wars, unlike Kathleen Kennedy and perhaps some of the other creative team over at Lucasfilm. Yeah. What's his name? Pablo Hidalgo, yeah. Let's push Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker out of the story. Let's make it all about Carrie Fisher's Leia. Yeah. How did that work out for you, Pablo? Not so well, did it? You're talking about completely resetting the sequel trilogy now, but look, I digress. Ain't getting off on no tangent about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Look, it could work, Stephen. The animated stuff's been some of the best stuff that has come out in Star Wars in the last decade or so. As I did say, Filoni with Rebels and the Clone Wars, he brings some channels, as we like to say over here, which means really bad episodes with like space whales and stuff like that, and you're like, what am I watching here? But then he'll bring some amazing ones, like I can't recall the name of the episode, but the one with they're almost traversing time and stuff like that, and it opens up the possibility of time travel and stuff. That was an amazing episode. Ain't seen them in a while. It's intriguing, but you told me it's almost like a Suicide Squad meets Star Wars.
Yeah, it sounds a bit
the
like
Bad
that,
Bunch, or Batch. It'd have been better being the Bad Bunch.
Misfits, yeah.
Yeah, misfits who sort of come together and take on mercenaries and whatnot.
Yeah. John, I actually liked, I can't remember what the series was called, the sort of manga style one came out a couple of years ago, the sort of post Return of the Jedi stuff. I can't remember. But Dave Filoni, who has become the overlord of the small screen Star Wars, is acting as executive producer with Jennifer Corbett as head writer and Carrie Beck as the show's producer. There's no specific date for the series to launch yet, only that it will be in some point in 2021. That, I would assume this is going to be on Disney Plus, John, at some point.
Was it Resistance? It wasn't
Resistance,
it?
I think it was, yep, that's it. Yeah, I thought...
wasn't Filoni.
No, I thought the look of that was quite fresh. You know, it was different again from what we've seen in Clone Wars and Rebels.
Well, Clone Wars was different, and then Rebels they upped the game, and then they went different, as you said, sort of manga style. Yeah. So hopefully do something even more unique and pioneering with the visuals in this new series. Maybe even hyper realistic sort of animation. Get Jon Favreau in again. This is the man I think should replace Kevin Feige. I wish. Kathleen Kennedy as the all-seeing, all-hearing sort of president at Lucasfilm. This is a guy as well, working with Filoni, who just gets Star Wars. You've seen it with The Mandalorian. Bring him in, man. Bring his sort of pioneering technology in, because this guy's second only, maybe on even par with James Cameron, what he's doing with filming techniques and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
watch
The story
this
seems
space, but there
samey.
isn't enough Star Wars stuff coming out just now. We spoke last night, obviously, about The Empire Strikes Back being at number 1 in the box
So much
office.
so, Stephen, that they're not even having a panel at Comic-Con.
No, but
It's dead
John,
now.
Air Force Friday show used to be packed with news about Star Wars. It's very sporadic now, you know. But it doesn't seem to be anything that's that exciting. You know, we're talking about animated shows now because there's no live action stuff to talk about. I'm pretty sure when The Mandalorian season 2 kicks off, we might reconsider bringing back that show live, John.
There's no live action stuff to speak about because Kathleen Kennedy canned the Obi-Wan series, the writing side of it, decided to go back to bare basics and redo the whole script.
Yeah.
We could have been speaking about Ewan McGregor returning as Ben Kenobi.
And obviously your man from Rogue One as well. Cassian Andor, yeah. So, but listen, I'm sure we'll get there and we'll Force Friday show will return and we can talk about great things about Star Wars once again. But we'll move on to our final article here, John. This actually came in just a couple of hours ago. I've not read the article because you just mentioned it before we started recording, but the gist of it is obviously about Tenet's runtime. Here's how long you'll sit in a theatre for Christopher Nolan's new movie. So, how long is Tenet? As revealed by Korean rating board via The Independent, the film reportedly runs 149 minutes and 59 seconds, or almost exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, it's not really anything we can really talk about too much, John, but I thought this was going to be one of his longer films, just the complexity of it. But sometimes maybe that's a bad thing, you know, with obviously complex film storytelling. Maybe you've overstayed your welcome by half an hour, because I did assume this would be over 3 hours, John, but it looks like it's going to be coming in at 2 hours and 30 minutes. What's your thoughts?
Stephen, first and foremost, I'm not a fan of films' running times being revealed. That's something I'm kind of against. That's the first thing I'm going to mention, because it kind of gives the game away. If you're in the theatres and you're maybe watching the time and you realise you're an hour and a half in, 2 hours in, and something big happens on the screen, a sort of false ending, and then you look at the clock and you realise there's another half an hour to go, and you go in armed with knowledge of the actual length of the movie, then you know it's not done, and it spoils the experience. So I don't like them revealing running times. That'd be the first thing I would say. The length, I think it's a perfect length. I think people are becoming more and more accustomed to longer movies now. Back in the day, a 2.5 hour 2 hour 40 minute movie, 3 hours maybe, would have seemed hugely too long. I mean, people were more used to maybe 2 hours 15 back in the 90s. Also, going way back to like the Charlton Heston epics, they were like 3 hours and 40 minutes long, the sort of Ben Hur movies and whatnot, 10 Commandments with Yul Brynner and whatnot. A guy, as you know, Stephen, I'm trying my damnedest to get a Yul Brynner tan and I'm failing badly, but we seem to lose that appetite for longer movies, and then we're now regaining it with the likes of It Chapter 2 and what was the last 3 hour movie? Was it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? It was pretty long. There was another one though, which was 3 hours long. It's completely eludes me at the moment. So I think this is perfect. The Irishman went on forever, but I felt that it flowed okay for me. 2.5 hours is absolutely fine. I mean, it's not his longest movie by any means. Interstellar was nearly 3 hours long. Dark Knight Rises was 2 hours 45 minutes. And Dark Knight was 2 hours and 32 minutes. Inception was just a minute shorter, so I was never bored with Inception. And this guy, what he does with films, like film techniques, storytelling techniques, characters, inverting your sort of perceptions going in, and with this sort of time reversal concept, it'll be packed to the absolute rafters with explosions, pyrotechnics, amazing twists, probably ambiguous endings and whatnot. So I'm on board, man, no matter what. I cannot wait to see the movie. I just want to go to a theatre. I've had coronavirus. I know the immunity's a bit dodgy, but I'll wear a mask. Just let me in a theatre, man.
But, John, I can only echo your sentiments. You know, I'm very much looking forward to this. Fingers crossed we will see this in the theatre. I do not want to see this going to any kind of digital download or, you know, pay-per-view or anything like that. This has to be experienced in the theatre.
Just cutting you off there, sorry Stephen. Someone's asked in the chat, what's your favourite movie?
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
I'll tell you the reasons for it as well. Yeah, it's Fort Juan that's asking the question. The reason for that is we've done all the reviews for that, and written reviews as well. You know, I've lived and breathed Back to the Future for over 35 years now. Grew up with it. Just love the genre of it as well. Just it has everything. It has the sci-fi element. It has the comedy. It has the romance. It has the human side to it as well. Just a great written film. excellent actors in it as well with great chemistry. It's just and a cracking soundtrack as well. It's a perfect film for me.
I'm going to throw a little curveball in and say Cool Hand Luke. I love Paul Newman. Love the man. And also, what was the other chap who was in that Marlon Brando movie? I always forget, the big tall guy. Lee Marvin, he's fantastic in that as well as a sort of sycophantic little follower. Beautiful movie, man. Love it.
Good
themes
film.
and everything.
Good choice,
so that's
John,
my favourite, but there's so many. I mean, it's hard to pin it down. But Stephen, I'm done speaking here, man. Thankfully, the audio seems to have lasted the whole show for a change. No distortion. That's why I'm wearing these Shannon of Beats earphones, and there's a slight echo. Just double checking that it's not distorting too badly. But look, guys, I digress, man. I'm not going to go off in tangents about audio. What's your thoughts on the news about Dafne Keen potentially being interested in coming back to portray X23 again in a movie in the MCU? Is that something you want to see? You want to see Kevin Feige green light that movie? Do you want to see James Mangold coming back to direct the movie? What's your thoughts on Halloween Kills being delayed an entire year to October next year? And also Jamie Lee Curtis's thoughts on it. What is your thoughts on the new Star Wars animated series, The Bad Batch? Is it something you're excited for? Do you give a damn about it? Yeah, completely ambivalent, if you even know what that word is. What's your thoughts on TENET'S runtime? Is 2 hours and 29 minutes too long, or is it just the sweet spot? If you've got anything to say about any of the topics, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed watching us prattling on for a good half hour, I want to say. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to continue watching us prattling on for half hours and maybe even longer with a beer on a Friday reviewing a movie.
Yes.
What is the movie we're reviewing this week, Stephen? Is it?
It's Die Hard 2.
Die
Harder.
No new movies coming out, guys. So we're going back to classics. I ain't seen it, so I'm looking forward to watching that this week and give my views on it. But look, I digress, guys. If you subscribe, you'll see. And if you don't, then bid you farewell. Bye-bye.